Hey guys, what's going on? This is Alex over at MyFreedomSmokes, and today we're going to be talking on the topic of replacement heads. Now, sure, when you've gone on the website, you've tried to find the right coil for you, you go down to the options and all of a sudden it says 1.5, 1.8, 2.1, and you're wondering, what does that even mean and what's that have to do about my vape? Well, today you're going to find out. Well, when you're vaping, you do have your coil resistance. Your coil resistance is going to determine how quickly your wire heats up your cotton. Now it's kind of in reverse. The higher the number is the higher the resistance, which means the wire that's wrapped around your cotton is going to be heating up a little slower. The lower the number, the faster it'll heat up. Now there are ways to combat that with variable voltage and wattage devices, but as a general rule, these are the kind of things to live by. Now, if you're selecting a coil for, let's say, your EVOD tank, if you're using a high VG liquid, you probably need to go to the 2.1 ohm resistance because those coils really weren't made for such high VG liquids. The VG is going to be thicker, so if you're choosing a low resistance clearomizer, it's going to be burning off faster than it can soak in. So we always recommend getting the 1.8 resistance for stuff like the EVOD, the Nautilus, the Aero tank, stuff like that, the non-sub-ohm tanks. We always recommend getting the 1.8 resistance with a PG liquid. That way it really reduces your burnt hits. Now, when it comes to your new sub-ohm coils, this is when it can get a little bit more tricky. Right here I do have two examples for you. This tank, it currently has the 0.5 coil in it, and this has the 1.2 coil in it. Both Aspire and Kanger are releasing coils that fit these examples. Now, when you're using the 0.5 coil, you can really bump up your wattage, especially if you're using a higher VG liquid because it can handle it. The juice well is going to be really big on the side so it can take in enough liquid as need be. So this is an example, this one actually, sorry, this is the one that has the 0.5 in it. This is an example of a high VG liquid at 35 watts. Great flavor, really good vapor production. I think the VG ratio on this was 80%. Now with this one, this is going to be a PG based liquid. This base, I believe, is between 60 or 70% PG with the 1.2 coil. Now, if I were to run this at 35 watts, it would taste very hot, very dry, very burnt. So what you're going to want to do is reduce your wattage. We've reduced this one down to 17 watts, and I think it makes a world of difference. Not as many clouds, but as you saw, I still inhaled for about the same amount of time. So that's something else to take into consideration. Now, the new kind of coils that are coming out are going to be your temperature control coils. These can come in nickel or titanium. There is even Joytech ones that are stainless steel. Now, with these, you do have to have, and I emphasize have to have, a temperature controlled device in order to use these. That doesn't mean just because you own a sub tank, it doesn't mean you can use these. You need to make sure and have a mod that is temperature controlled. Stuff like the iStick 40 watt, one of the new Sigali 100s, you just really need something that's going to be temp control, including the Mini Invader, the Cloudper GT, the Snow Wolf, something like that. And with that, you actually measure your temperature instead of your voltage and wattage. That actually gets automatically calculated when you decide the temperature you want it set at. Just remember that cotton does combust at 420 degrees, so if you go anything higher than that, you are risking burnt cotton and a dry hit. So, kind of just in summary, because I know this is a whole lot of information. Thankfully, it's a video, that way you can reverse it back and re-listen to what you need. But just as a quick summary, if you're getting original coils for something like your smoke tanks, your original Kanger tanks, EVODs, stuff like that, ones that look like this, if you're getting these kind of replacement heads, we highly recommend using a PG liquid at the 1.8 resistance. If you're going to be using your sub-ohm tank with high VG liquids, we recommend using the 0.5 coils with a higher wattage. If you're going to be using a liquid that's higher in PG, we recommend the 1.2 coils and bump down that wattage a good bit just to make sure it doesn't get overly burnt and taste horrible. Now, I'm sure I didn't hit everything that needs to be known about replacement heads, but this has started a good discussion. So if you do have any other questions, leave a comment below. We'll make sure to respond. That way we can keep the conversation going. Again, this is Alex at MyFreedomSmokes, and thank you for vaping.